Hello everybody, welcome back once again to the Final Fantasy VII walkthrough. I've got a very quick guide here on source farming. Now, I did actually one earlier on in the game, and that one is different from this one. I feel like this one is like the I'm gonna call it like the optimal areas for source farming. The one earlier on in the game was just strictly for early level source farming, and I would say, as always, I think actually Yuffie is the best choice for your source morpher. Reason being, her conformer ignores the damage penalty due to morph. So I would say, take her with. Now, the first couple enemies here probably don't matter as much. I mean, I still think that she's still the best, but some of them, it just doesn't matter as much because the specific enemies we're fighting don't have as much HP as others. Now, I would recommend starting here with the Screamers. If you notice here, I am using the W item glitch in order to speed up this process. If you're not going to use the W item glitch, I would say a better spot would actually be to morph the power tanks in the Gungaga area. Reason being, you'll always fight them there, whereas this spot, there's a lot of other enemy encounters that you can run into here. So your chances of actually running into the enemy that you want to morph is drastically reduced. Now, that being said, though, if you're going to toss in the W item glitch, this spot is by far the best. It's amazing. So, and as I would say that this is the best place to start if you're going to do source farming, because you want to upgrade your character's strength stat, because it's just going to make it easier for you to morph the rest of these enemies. So this is the second spot. I'd say this is pretty easy. Here actually I actually ran into the hippogriff. The hippogriffs are actually not very common here. So if you're looking for, and this is actually the guard source spot, and what we're looking for here is actually the spiral enemies. They will obviously morph into guard sources. You will most likely encounter them in groups of at least 2, if not 3. So, if you're not going to use the W item glitch, which I highly recommend, I just think that essentially source farming is just a time sink, and it's something that you don't even need to do anyway. But if you're going to go all out, you might as well use the W item glitch, and if you notice, I'm not using it. And that's actually because all of my characters already have max level. I guess, what is it? Spirit? No, sorry, Vitality. So I just wanted to get footage here of the spot. So whether or not you want to do that next is fine. I always recommend doing strength sources or power sources first, because that's going to help you morph the rest of these sources. So that's my take on that. Now here we run into a little bit of an issue with magic sources. As always, I think that the best way to go about it is the W item glitch. Unfortunately, with magic sources, that's extremely difficult, or more difficult to do. Now, what I've got here, if you notice, take a look. If you're actually going to use this method, take a look at what materia I have equipped. I would say that it's extremely useful to have that materia, because it's just going to help you with the actual morphing, and you need some of it specifically. I've got exit equipped because I like to actually just leave the battles once I'm done with them, and otherwise, I guess you can always leave, or you can always run, but that's not the method I like to use. I like to use exit. You'll actually get still a little bit of battle points for that. Now, this is not the only place to get magic sources. However, I feel like this is the best place because, again, so we're actually we're looking for the 8 Eyes enemy is what it's called, and there's 2 of them together. The problem with the magic sources is that if you try to morph them in other places, specifically the down Shinra plane, the problem is the enemy that morphs into a magic source there is by itself, and so you have to tweak your method a little bit, and it's less efficient. So what we're looking for here is we're looking at the 3rd round. And unfortunately, though, the 8 Eyes doesn't always show up on the 3rd round, but when it does, you are good to go, and that's what we'll end up doing. So here they are. This is the 8 Eyes enemies. You may recognize this fight from the ancient pyramid. Is that what it's called? I think that was it. Temple of the Ancients. I'm sorry. So actually what I'm going to do here, I always try to stop one of them. The reason for that is I've got the counter materia paired with Morph. And the reason why that's key is because obviously Cloud is well, in this case, I'm using Cloud, and Cloud is the only one that participates in the battle. So you can't count on another character using the Morph command and then you using your item command. So what you do is wait for it to attack, and then start your W item glitch. So that's how I do it. Unfortunately, the 8 Eyes is extremely, extremely difficult to actually stop. I actually, now that I think about it, I'm not sure if they're immune to the paralyze status or not. So if you've got the Dazers item, you could try that to try to paralyze one of them. Again, though, I'm not sure if that actually will work or not on them. But that being said, I use stop. It I don't know. I would say it worked 75% of the time. Unfortunately, though, about 25% of the time, it won't work. And so what'll end up happening is you'll try to duplicate, and you'll start on it, and then unfortunately, the other enemy will attack you, and then you'll counterattack it with Morph, thus screwing up your Morph process or your item duplication process. But if you notice there, I use the remedy in battle and get rid of that, get that out of my inventory, and then essentially duplicate off of the remedy. And that's because the remedy is actually purchasable here, right in the battle square, for 100 battle points. So basically, every successful time I run into enemies here, and then I duplicate all these magic sources, I'll then use them on my characters. If you notice here, this is really exactly what I'm doing. And then I'll move on to the next character, and so Vincent's the next target. So I'll use all the rest of them on Vincent, and then if you notice, I'll go interact with the battle point exchanger and grab one remedy, which will then go to the top of my inventory there, and then I'll just start the process over. So that's magic sources in a nutshell. Again, if you need to, take a look at my materia. I feel like that was a really, really good setup. And again, that's just my preferred way to handle that. You actually can use a different method, but again, it's not as efficient. So in my opinion, for magic sources, that is the best spot. Now, moving on, we are in the downed Shinra plane. So we're going to work on luck sources and speed sources next. Both of them are extremely easy to do. Same with the strength sources and guard sources. Nothing really too fancy other than again, the fact that you really just want to have the W item materia equipped. I think is this one. I think this is the speed source first. So here we'll see. Yep, we got okay. So 6,000 HP. Again, now I've got Tifa and Sid here. I should have swapped out Tifa for Yuffie. At this point I had the Conformer, and again, that's the best way to morph in my opinion. But here I'm getting all set up. I used whatever that was in my inventory, got that out of there, and then so here we go. We'll just duplicate all these speed sources. Now, for this area specifically, if you're going to spend a lot of time here, if you want to get speed sources or if you want to max everyone's dexterity, I would actually say it's a good idea to get an ink. Ink is from actually the next item. It's in this hallway, and keep in mind specifically, you need to be, if you want to get the speed sources, you have to be in this specific hallway in the sunken Shinra plane. These enemies do not appear in the other areas of the ship, so you have to be here. In this hallway, and that goes for the luck sources as well, which are coming up next. Now, again, what I was mentioning there, though, about the ink is the great thing about the ink is you can actually just steal it from the enemies. They look like kind of like jellyfishes and or jellyfish, however you want to say that, or however that's appropriate. I think it's fish, but anyways, you'll want to steal those and try to just steal one, and then you can just use those for your duplication. And by doing it that way, you don't have to constantly leave the ship to go, say, like buy potions or something from from a vendor to use. So it'll just speed up your whole process. So here I'm going to think I actually ended up morphing a Poodler first for whatever reason. I actually didn't end up duplicating speed sources for this particular clip, but actually didn't. I don't know if I even ended up duplicating the luck sources. I think I either messed up or something ended up happening here where I think I had my inventory set up incorrectly. So unfortunately, I didn't duplicate the luck sources in the way that I wanted to. But essentially, same strategy as everywhere else that we've gone through so far. I guess other than the magic sources, those are a special case. But as far as attack or power source, guard source, luck source, and speed source, all pretty much the same in their duplication method, I should say. So, and so here you'll notice I didn't even bother duplicating them for whatever reason. I guess. Again, it was either I didn't have my inventory set up correctly or for whatever reason. But anyways, like I said, so those enemies right there are the ones that you can steal the ink from, and I would highly recommend that just because you don't want to keep, leaving here to go buy like potions and, cornucopias or whatever it is that you want to use to duplicate these items. So that's what I like to do. And again, just as a recap, for speed and luck sources, you have to be in this hallway specifically. So the next item that we're going to duplicate is the last one. It is the mind source. That is what increases your spirit stat. And you need to be in this specific room. This room is the only place you'll find the serpents. The serpents are the enemy that we need to duplicate. Now, here I've actually got surprise attack with morph. And then I've got final attack with morph, and then another final attack paired up with life. And then I think my life is paired up with a quadramagic, or I have another copy of life paired up with quadramagic. So why do you have to do all that? Well, unfortunately, the serpent is the only enemy in the game at this point that you can duplicate mind sources from. And unfortunately, this is I would say the most efficient way to do it. This is not the only way to duplicate mind sources. You actually can use the trick where you let an item be stolen from your inventory, and then you kill that inventory or that enemy to get the item to appear back in your inventory, and then you can duplicate it that way. I did go over that in one of my earlier guides, so I'm not going to go over it again. But the key here is actually to make the serpent kill Yuffie, which at that point she will counterattack with, because she's got final attack paired up with a morph, and that will make her counterattack and kill the enemy by using morph. I just paused here for a second to show you that the serpent will keep using Viper Breath on a character until on whatever character has the most HP. So if you notice, finally it's knocked Cloud down to a lower HP than Yuffie does, and you have to pay attention to how much damage it's doing, because if it doesn't work, you can screw this up, or if it doesn't actually kill off Yuffie, you can screw it up and screw up your item inventory. So there, I'm actually just making sure that the Viper does a kill shot on Yuffie and activates, because if you notice there, that first Viper Breath missed her. So there you go. That's going to be a kill shot. And here is, you just have to be really fast. I think my best was 74 or maybe even 75 mind sources. But here she's going to cast life 4 times because quadramagic is paired with life. Which again, she's actually got final attack with morph, and then later final attack with life as well. And then life paired up with, another copy of life paired up with quadramagic, so that she'll cast it 4 times. And that's just to give you time. Wow, I actually got 77 on that time. I think that was actually my record right there. So it's unfortunately the toughest to duplicate of all the sources, but that's how you do it. I hope this guide was helpful as always, and hope you join me for more videos. Thanks for watching.